Well, Terence Mauri is the founder of the think tank Hack Future Lab, which has been looking at the psychological effects of COVID on employees. And a very good morning to you, Terence. Thank you ever so much for joining us. So you've been talking to people who are in middle management roles. What sort of things have they been saying to you?
Good morning, Leslie. Great to be on the show. Well, look, it's a ticking time bomb, and we need to address the elephant in the room. My research has shown that because of workplace survivor syndrome, that's the guilt factor when other people are laid off. Some statistics here: 86% are experiencing insecurity, job insecurity, 74% a sense of isolation, and even 69% of those left behind reported a 69% drop in productivity.
Wow. I mean, it's staggering, isn't it? And it's funny. I was speaking to somebody from LinkedIn the other day, and she was saying how actually the stigma around redundancy has changed. But has it? Do you think it has?
Do you know what? I used to have a boss called the Shadow. That was his nickname. You know, you'd be working away and you'd feel this cold shiver down your spine, and then this deep breathing. And then he'd be there, the shadow. And look, most redundancies, I think, are still done pretty badly. I've come across, it's being done by voicemail, text, even automated bots. And so I think for any manager, any boss, bot, the kind of like AI, you've got to show care. Yes, you've got to show care, compassion, empathy, and talk it through. Be a truth teller.
Yeah, and so you're talking about this survivor's guilt, this idea that those who are left behind. So effectively, it's those who have lost their jobs and those that haven't. So in a way, everybody's affected.
Everybody's impacted. It's this kind of psychological, physical, emotional sense of loss. And it happens in car accidents, but you can feel this sense of guilt that you've survived a redundancy or a layoff. And look, over the next year, we're going to probably jump to around 2.6 million people unemployed, record levels of unemployment. Half the planet, in fact, has jobs at risk right now, 1.6 billion people. So this is something that needs to be addressed and be front and center.
But how do you even go about approaching something like that?
I don't think it's easy, but
No.
I start with what I call the 3 T's. So it's about having a reputation as a truth teller, being transparent, and building trust. And trust is this kind of confident relationship and the unknown. And I think, we're suffering from truth decay right now. So build a reputation as being somebody who's a person of trust, and talk about it. Talk about knowables, talk about unknowables.
And do you think people are more resilient than we sort of give ourselves credit for sometimes?
I think so. I came across a word in Finland called sisu. It means Viking spirit, resilience, bounce back. And we certainly need that more than ever. But I think sometimes we can grow stronger and bounce back from adversity. It's actually called anti-fragility. We get stronger from the shock.
Interesting. And in terms of morale then, how important is good staff morale?
Massively. Energy breeds energy. And so if you haven't got the right levels of team spirit and sense of community and a strong purpose, it's a catalyst. So when you need a level of morale to translate into performance and productivity and results. And if that morale is low, or even worse, if people have mentally quit the job but haven't told anybody, it's called quit and stay. That's even more dangerous.
God, I can imagine. And what sort of impact then does it have on the businesses when morale is low? Presumably it's in their interest as well to keep it high.
Oh, gosh, absolutely. Absolutely. Look, put it this way. If you've got 10,000 people or 1,000 people and 10% have mentally quit the job but haven't told you, it means that literally you've got 100 or 1,000 people not working for the business. That's going to have an impact on the bottom line for sure, but also on the kind of morale of the rest of the team who are still working.
Yes. And that's something that we're seeing now very much there is a bit of a divide, isn't there? That you've got people who are working from home for businesses,
Yes.
people who are still going into the office, into their places of work and what have you. And we've heard of kind of tell of resentment from both sides. So resentment from the people working from home at the others who have been able to keep a fairly normal existence,
Yes.
in inverted
Yes.
commas, and then resentment from those who are having to go into the office every day for those who can work in their PJs.
It's such a divisive issue, and I think for managers there's no quick fix here, but I think it's about being upfront, addressing that elephant in the room, managing people's expectations, and can I say, win with empathy. We've focused far too much on just chasing the money, and this is a time for compassion and ethics and transparency.
Yeah, and we're hearing every day here at the radio station from people who have found themselves out of work and then are looking for something new, coming up with new and innovative ways. Is it
Yes.
kind of a time to be a bit, I don't know, be a bit chancy to a degree?
I think so. Look, today is the slowest it'll ever be in our lifetime, first of all. Secondly, if we're lucky, we get to live for about 960 months. The goal is not to depress our listeners, but 960 months is just 80 years of age. You've only, this is the time to renew and reinvent.
Oh, blimey. I don't know how that makes me feel. That's made me feel a bit weird, if I'm honest with you, Terence. I can't lie.
I know,
Dividing my life up into months. That's okay. I'll take it. I'll do that. But is this something that people do have to do for themselves? Or do you think government, local councils and companies, they should actually be taking some action as well?
I think it's a dual approach. I think government, local councils, policymakers can provide, for example, training grants, reinvention grants, provide that eco space for people to really thrive. But then you've got to take the initiative yourself as well, activate your purpose, your why, your source code for meaning. I interviewed a 100-year-old lady recently who'd reinvented herself. She decided to go to university at the age of 83. When she graduated, she was twice as old as the professor.
Amazing.
So, be a learner, not a knower.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much, Terence. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. Before you go, though, I've got one very important question to ask you.
Tell me.
Christmas starts here on the radio station tomorrow. And as I'm first up, 6 a.m. in the morning, I've got the very heavy responsibility of playing the first Christmas track of the year. What should it be, Terence?
Eye of the Tiger. Let's do it.
That very well-known festive Christmas track, The Eye of the Tiger.
You like that? Only dead fish go with the flow is my motto at the moment.
Terence, it has been a pleasure. Thank you. Terence Mauri there, founder of the think tank Hack Future Lab. I mean, I need that printed on a T-shirt. Only dead fish go with the flow.